Yeah, man. San Diego State. Man, kicking ass, dude. Let's let me know what you can hear and what you can't. Yeah, Creighton, man. That's why, dude, I'm like all about the Pac-12 or sorry, the Big 12 going after those damn Big East schools, man. They show up every year, man. Why not? All right. Well, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Rob. I'm glad I'm loud and clear and don't suck. Appreciate you, Bullseye. All right. Well, we got those formalities out of the way. Yeah, man. The damn tournament. Actually, Big 12 did kind of well. Kansas State, what the hell? Was it FAU that got them? That sucks. But Elite Eight, hey, man, who saw that before the tournament came up? But yeah, it's a weird tournament, man. All the damn blue bloods pretty much gone, just eviscerated. Now I didn't check on the Texas on Texas. Y'all let me know if they actually got to the Final Four. I'm trying to remember who they had. Oh, let's see. I know Gonzaga was up. I think they got beat actually. Shit, I'm trying to remember. I know Alabama got tore up. I knew that shit was going to happen. I mean, come on. They faced nobody, nobody, and everybody was, oh look, Alabama, here they come. Nick Saban ain't walking through that door, buddy. But yeah, it's been a fun tournament. So many damn teams to keep up with. But yeah, man, we definitely got to go after those Big East teams, man. I mean, what we got that deal with Rucker Park now. I mean, that's brilliant. That's freaking more your mark genius going on now. Um, so they're going to have like some deal for kids or some bullshit there, and they're going to play some exhibition games, I believe, in Rucker Park. It's only the heart of the basketball universe in New York City. That works out great. Oh, let's see. Here's Mr. Rob again. The transfer portal, I believe, is somewhat allowing mid majors to better perform due to fast quality players can play at incoming schools. Oh yeah, I never thought about the transfer portal. Really, I've been so focused on the football side of things, but yeah, it's like super huge in basketball. One player, one player can save your freaking life in basketball. So, and of course, the Big 12. Where where would you rather transfer to than a Big 12 school at this point? I don't give a damn if it's someone you may not think of, Texas Tech or hell now UCF, Cincinnati. Why not? I mean, it's only the greatest conference in basketball. Period. Would I state? Would I take San Diego State to the Big 12? I would. With the Big 12, I don't know. I think that's the problem. Because the first priority, of course, is getting the Pac-12 schools, and yeah, they're like the thumbnail said, there's going to be an exodus. That deal looks like absolute ass. They have what was the rumored amount? 9 million from ESPN. 9 million a school. 9 million. Oh, that shit's too funny. It's too funny. Uh, all this talk, man. All this. Oh, we're going to stick together. Well, it's easy to stick together when you got money, but when no one's wanting to pay you to stick together, you know, because it's not really a marriage, all right? You and your wife, you and your husband, you can you can be broke as shit and just stay together and be dirty and hungry and poor together. That's fine, but that's a business. Academics are a business, and without money, there's no academics. So, would I take San Diego State? I absolutely would. Um, but like I said, you know, the California market outside of USC, outside of LA, really, I don't really know what it's worth anymore. San Diego was a cool spot from what I understand. I've only seen pictures. I haven't been there. I've been to San Francisco, but it looks beautiful. I know people that have been there and rave about it, but it's not like an overly huge market. I don't know how much of LA you get by having them come in. The business side may not make sense. I'm just talking about football and basketball team. They have been, they compete, as we see, you know, San Diego State to the Final Four, man. That's it's the best thing they could have done for themselves right now. Whether that's get into whatever's left of the Pac-12, which is probably more likely. But I see value, future value, but I don't know how much the Big 12 can go off of future value. They did a little bit with Cincinnati and Houston, but you know, I think that was a lot about the timing. And of course, when the Big 12 added those four schools, you had no idea what was going on with those California schools, USC, and all that. Of course, when I heard about Texas and Oklahoma leaving, I'm like, okay, what's stopping USC? Their TV deal's coming up quicker. Why wouldn't they go after the money? But yeah, San Diego State, man, they should be really, really proud of what they did and what they accomplished. And I hope they get into a Power Five at some point. Now, how long? It'll probably be the Pac-12, but I don't know how long they're going to stay at Power Five. Have no idea. Um, if Oregon and Washington are really wanting to go to the Big Ten and willing to take like half of what everybody else makes, that could work for them, and that might help them get into that conference. So, I mean, with the schools they're going to lose to the Big 12, and if those two go, I mean, then the Pac 12 is not an option. And I don't know how much of an option the Big 12 would be. But, that's why old Brett Yormark, that's why he makes the money. Because I don't know how you would pull that off, even if you want them. I mean, that's a really good basketball program in San Diego State, and they've been good for a while. They've been good for a while, and I would, look, you're building the Big 12 to be the greatest of all time as far as basketball. I mean, they're already the best right now. You can't say they've been the best of all time going back 30 years, but going forward, you put the right brands in this thing, then I mean, what's the future look like? I mean, this thing could be worth a lot of money just in the basketball. So I think San Diego State would help you as far as competitiveness, another team that gets into the tournament, and the tournament payouts. I mean, they pay out by unit, right? So every team you get into the tournament, you get a unit for every game they play. So the more wins they have, the more games they play, the more units they get, and that'll determine how much your payout is for the conference. So the more teams you can get in, the more money you're going to make. And as far as I know, and that's averaged off of 6 years, right? So they take a 6-year block, count up all the units for each year for that 6 years. That'll determine your payout every year. And even with this year that's supposed to be down, Kansas got knocked out early. Baylor, nope. Texas Tech didn't make it. Oklahoma State didn't make it. We had a lot of teams that get in. Well, we have 6, 7 teams that actually got there. That's also including Texas. But, hey, Houston's coming in next year, so that'll take their spot. So I don't care about counting Texas or not counting Texas. What's your name? Daniel Dilly. All right, he says Pac-10 loses autonomy. Hmm. Not really sure what that means. I don't know. Or Power Five status. Maybe that's what you're talking about because of having a backfill with Mountain West schools. Um, I think eventually, yeah. I think eventually, yeah. Um, Oregon and Washington will help you stay Power Five relevant for a while. If you think about it, those two brands are bigger than any brand in the Big 12, and we didn't lose our Power Five. We were able to backfill, if you will. But however, BYU, is that really a backfill when they're adding value? $3 or $4 million worth of value per team, per school, per year. It's a lot of damn value for just a backfill. So I wouldn't include BYU in backfill. Um, look, if they add San Diego State, SMU, Fresno State, Boise State, whatever, to the Pac-10, but you still have Oregon State, Washington State, Oregon and Washington, Stanford and Cal, you know, is that still a Power Five conference? Yeah, it's a very weak one. It's right teetering on the edge of just being a group of five, but that's really going to depend on what happens to Oregon more than anything. Sorry about being rude, but I'm not sorry. I'm thirsty. Yeah. Rodney Durrett, what's up, dude? Texas Tech was in the national championship game in 2019. Yes, and Tech's a damn good team. Like I said, in basketball, this thing's a juggernaut, man, and it's only going to get better. Gonzaga's going to come in. That's a done deal. That's just going to add way more power to this thing. And believe me, that move in Rutger Park, they're going after some of those eastern schools. I can see Villanova. I can see UConn. I mean, I would love UConn men's and women's basketball coming to the Big 12, dude. I mean, it's perfect. So much history there with Villanova too. I wouldn't mind Creighton or Xavier. Give me all that. Give me St. John's. That's fine. You got a dipshit for a head coach. You can't keep it in his pants, but like that's ever stopped college sports from hiring somebody. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so we're gonna really get this thing rocking and rolling with the basketball with the Big 12. Of course, it already is. But as far as the future, as far as splitting that off from football, that's what you got to do, man. You got to add valuable brands to it so you can split it off. So you can increase the value, make the money on that. So, like, is Rucker Park going to make us money? No, but it's not about that. There's money in brand value. That's where your money ultimately goes. So, and beyond that is perception. So, if you perceive the Big 12 as being the most powerful basketball brand, then that becomes more and more worth something. And the more power you have, bigger payouts you have every year, and the more representation deep in the tournament you have every single year, that equates to a lot of money, a lot more than there's ever been in basketball. Sorry, it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Kind of using my phone to get the comments, and of course, there's a I'm seeing my dumbass self on there, and it's the first live stream I've ever done. So I figure I didn't have any ideas for a video today. So I'm like, I never live streamed before. Let me try that shit out. So I don't know if it's going to work out or not. Uh, who knows? I'll probably do it every Sunday, maybe. Why not? I'm not doing anything else. I've already mowed the lawn, you know. Sex with the wife. No, not during daylight hours. Heavens forbid. So live stream. Oh, all right, Mr. Daniel Dilly. Thoughts on the story that USC wanted to bring Oregon, not USCL, motherfucker, UCLA to the Big Ten. See, I thought it was going to be Oregon. I did a video a long time ago, just when I was dabbling into this. I do sports videos now and again, and a bunch of other dumb shit videos, but decided to hone in on the sports thing. Anyway, yeah, I did a video on that, and I was like, yeah, why wouldn't USC take off like Texas and Oklahoma showed you can do? Go to another conference, make more money. And I always thought the natural thing would be Oregon to go with them if they were going to go with anybody. I thought it would be Oregon. So it's not shocking. Now, I don't know why UCLA. I don't know why the Big Ten would demand UCLA. If it's maybe they just wanted the basketball. That's the only thing I could think of is, hey, we want, or they want the entirety of LA. They want both big brands out of LA, and UCLA is a big brand. It's just a basketball brand, but they may have wanted more of that basketball money from UCLA, and I don't know. I guess there's academics too. I don't know, but I don't know how much. I don't know, people put so much into that academic shit. I don't know if the Big Ten was really thinking of that or thinking, hey, UCLA is a blue blood in basketball. We would love another blue blood in basketball. USC is a blue blood in football. So there we go. Two blue bloods. Let's go. And Oregon's not a blue blood in anything. They're good. They're really good. If they could win a championship in football, I think they would qualify. They've been that good for that long. That many fans. They got the Nike money behind them. At least until the old man dies, I don't know if the kids or grandkids give two shits about Oregon or the University of Oregon. I don't even know if they care about that. So I don't know if those donations are going to keep rolling in like they've been. UCLA brings the Rose Bowl with them. I guess. I mean, does that even matter anymore? Uh, I mean, I guess it matters on the West Coast, but I don't know. Like here, like I'm in Fort Worth, so the big deal here was the Cotton Bowl for years. That's what the Dallas Cowboys first played there. That was a big deal. The Cotton Bowl was a big deal in college for a long time, and now it's still kind of a big deal, but not really. As a matter of fact, I don't think is the Cotton Bowl even played in the Cotton Bowl anymore. I think it's played at Jerry World now. So I don't know. I know the Rose Bowl is still a thing. I know it's still a thing. I just don't know if I don't know if that's the reason you would bring UCLA over Oregon. You know, would you rather have? I mean, would you rather have a tighter connection with all that Nike money or a stadium? I don't know. An old stadium. I know it's cool, maybe, but I don't know. As a Texas guy, I don't give two shits about the Rose Bowl. That's the only thing. Maybe I'm off on that. Maybe I'm completely wrong on it. And it is, it has all the prestige. I don't know. I mean, I think of Madison Square Garden as some prestigious place. Uh, Yankee Stadium, right? They tore that shit down. I mean, they built it back, but not in the same spot. But I would think that was more legendary than any other facility. Was Yankees freaking stadium, and you know they knocked that shit down and built a Costco or whatever that stadium is now. I mean, I guess it's nice. I don't know. I've never been there. Never will. I'm not going to New York. I'm trying to get shot. Rose Bowl means different to the Big Ten fans. I guess it could. I mean, I know y'all played. I think it was Pac-12, Big Ten play the Rose Bowl every year in the Rose Bowl or something. I guess it would mean more. So maybe it has more. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the reason UCLA got picked. Maybe that was a check in the column, the UCLA column. Rose Bowl check. Oregon. Yeah, their stadium. I don't even know the name of it. What is it? Was it Duck Stadium? I don't know. Don in Kansas. What's up, dude? I'm a Big 12 fan. I very much. I'd be very interested in living or inviting San Diego State to join. Me too. I wouldn't. If you could work it out business wise for San Diego State to come in, I'm not opposed to the Aztecs. I'm not one of these guys that are like, oh, no group of five. There's still a group of five schools that are really good, really hungry, and really want to put investment into their student athletes, to the facilities. That's what I'm interested in adding teams that give a shit about their sports teams. That's why I'm open to Colorado now, because apparently they give a shit and they're really going to push forward and try. Excuse me. And you know, Utah tries. I know people that run the university probably don't give a damn, but there's people within Utah that care. We know Arizona cares, and I think Arizona State cares. Stanford kind of cares, maybe. Cal doesn't give a shit. And that's the sad thing about Oregon State and Washington State. I mean, both those schools do everything they can to be competitive and be respectable, but they just, it sucks, dude. I mean, I would like Oregon and Washington State. I really would. As far as business, I don't know what kind of value, of course, ESPN would be contractually bound to put up money for them. I just don't think you could get Fox to add anything. And I don't think would Amazon want a game a week featuring Oregon State or Washington State? I don't know if that's enough. Not for Amazon. But yeah, unfortunately, it's just a lot about the money, not just about the competitive environment. So it's like there's some crazy math you got to do with everything. And so all my videos and shit are speculation out the asshole. And uh, that's all I try to as best as I can with my GED education, try to say, okay, this team gets this kind of ratings. This team has this kind of a brand. This team is this they win this much, or they lose this much, or whatever it is. And I try to add everything together as best as humanly possible and say, okay, what would be good for the Big 12? I think San Diego would be pretty good for the Big 12. It's just getting them in the business of it, and because you would have to, the schools that are already in would have to give up money for San Diego, because essentially, like the pro rata clause and all that, it's basically like a sponsorship. Someone is paying for that school to come into your conference. Is anyone willing to pay for San Diego State to come into the Big 12? And ESPN has already said no group of five. They're not willing to do it. Fox ain't willing to do anything unless you approach them on a case by case basis, essentially, because that's why they didn't have it in their contract, and they absolutely would. They wanted to evaluate every little move you want to make, and are they going to invest in it? Now you could take that to Amazon, if you want to add them, or Oregon State and Washington State. Would they give you the kind of money they're willing to give the Pac-12 though? I don't know. I don't know that, because that's for like Oregon and Washington and Utah. That's for your bigger brands. They want to give money to the Pac-12 to have a game of the week. I don't know if they want a game of the week, San Diego State versus Washington State, or San Diego State versus Oregon State. I don't know if they want. I don't know if they want that. I don't know if they'd be willing to pay for that. But I don't know. As far as the tournament, I want to do a separate video once the tournament ends on that, and just kind of determine, what kind of points the Big 12 got relative to everybody else. And I'm willing to bet, even in a down year, a supposed down year, I bet we did probably better than just about anybody else. Maybe the Big East, but I don't know how many teams they got into the tournament. And they got several and had some on some pretty good runs, man. So they had a great year in the tournament. So figure that out. We'll figure that out. But I'm still going to push for the Big 12. For the Big East. I wouldn't mind the Big 12 taking the entire Big East. I really wouldn't. And you got this guy at Heartland Sports. He's always been against the the basketball only schools coming in. He's like, oh, look what happened to the ACC or the Big East. Look what happened to the Big East. The basketball only screwed them. It had nothing to do with the basketball only. That's not what did it. Now, I don't know all my history. I don't know everything that did it, but I'm not going to blame it on basketball only. It's not enough money, all right, to justify destroying a conference or splitting a bunch of stuff up. I don't think that's the case at all. I just think there's a lot of people who just don't have the kind of vision that Brett Yormark does as far as really monetizing and pushing basketball. It is your second biggest revenue generator after all. You think it would be in your best interest to expand that even further. Maybe you'll never get it to the level of football, but you could certainly make it bigger. You make it worth more. The ACC has been a pretty damn good basketball conference. Not this year, but in a lot of years they have been. But yeah, so that to me it's like, okay, there's another example of mismanagement. No one thinking outside the box. Everyone's just kind of doing the traditional thing. And the Big 12 is not going to be a traditional conference. We're going to do shit different because we have to. You can't compete traditionally with the SEC and the Big 10. And ultimately, that's the thing. It's not squashing the Pac-12. They've squashed themselves. They've screwed themselves. The ACC has screwed themselves. Some of it is not their fault. The landscape of things changed, but there was no forward thinking at all. They're the ones that signed this gigantic, long, freaking deal until 2036. Excuse me. And I think the original deal was 20 years. 20 years! I mean, I understand traditionally long freaking deals like that were a thing, but do some research on it before you sign it. Talk to people. You can't pick up a phone and call the Big Ten. Like, how are y'all going to handle it? Would you sign a 20-year deal, Big Ten? Just a simple question like that. And I guarantee you that commissioner would have, well, obviously they didn't, and they probably would have said, no, we'd probably try something different. But they didn't do any of that. They didn't do any of that. This is the way it's been done for 100 years or since the invention of TV. So, yeah, we're not going to be a traditional outfit. So, I think if we took the Big East into the Big 12, I think that would actually work as far in building the basketball brand, separating it from football, not trying to package it together. I think you can avoid a lot of the pitfalls that happen to the ACC just because they may have better educational schools there, I guess, on someone's list, but they're awfully stupid with money. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, the Big East had 5 teams in the tourney. Yeah, I know they had quite a few. They did damn good. Damn good. And that is, what the hell is your name? Wow, that's a name, dude. Kihailani L Hawaii, maybe? I don't know. I don't know, dude, but I appreciate the comment anyway. He also says ACC had 2 teams in the Final Four last year, and I think it was the most watched semifinal game in history. Well, that's good for them. I mean, you're going against Kansas. You got Kansas and UNC, right? I mean, who's not going to watch that game? If you're any type of basketball guy, or someone who comes in once in a while just for the big moments, that's a pretty big historic matchup right there. So it doesn't shock me at all that it was one of the higher rated. Helps to have that Big 12 opponent, doesn't it? Let's see. Mike Pitch. What's up, dude? Not sure you can make hoops worth more. Well, no, you can't. It gets almost no attention until conference tournament time. True. And the one and done tourney is random anyway. I'm skeptical how much more cash you can make with hoops. Well, it's not easy, but let's just take the tournament money. This is how it's set up right now. The more teams you have with capability of getting into the tournament, the higher payouts you're going to have. And as I said before, it's basically a 6-year average of how many units you get. And a unit is every team you have in the tournament, every game they play is worth 1 unit. So, like Kansas State, for instance, right? So they got to the Elite Eight. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 4 units the Kansas State was worth this year. That's a hell of a good run, Elite Eight. So if you get to the championship game, that's 6 units for a team. So that's the most any team can get. So it's not a lot of units, is it? Not a ton. But the more teams you have, the more units you get. And if you have a team or two that makes a deep run, so that's one way to keep your payout. Because I guarantee the Big 12 has the highest NCAA tournament payout of anyone's. Conference tournament. You got to hype that shit up because you are the Big 12. You're the big dog. You're the SEC of basketball. So you hype that shit up, Brett. Yormark has started that this year. You keep hyping it up, keep driving the ratings of that up. That's more money that's worth more in 2031. You add in more brands. Not only does it help you with more teams getting into the tournament, keeping your payouts really high, not only does it make your conference tournament the most watched conference tournament, period, because you have the biggest brands going damn near in that tournament, but it also makes your regular season, you'll never have huge ratings in the regular season. Unfortunately, you never will. But you can accelerate those a little bit. Key matchups. All right, key matchups, maybe take some teams, if not all the teams, to Europe or something like that. Do an in-season tournament. You know, there's ways you could think out of the box to increase monetarily your basketball. Like I said, it'll never get to the heights of college football, but college basketball can be worth more money to a conference. Not to any conference, to the Big 12, who has the capability of just, I mean, right now, just the teams that are coming in next year will already be extraordinarily popular and powerful conference. It's already going to be there. But the more brands, Gonzaga, Houston, not Houston, Arizona, Villanova, Xavier, Creighton, UConn, things like that. You add in those kind of brands, and then the value of this thing, it goes up considerably, considerably, and that's going to be the best and quickest way to increase the overall conference's money and brand value moving forward is through basketball. It's what we do the best. All right. Haha, I was right. You're from Hawaii. I suck at pronouncing any names, dude. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm trying to. What is this? I'm just gonna shred that, dude. I'm gonna completely shred. I'm gonna say L. I'm gonna call you L, dude. uh, he also L also says semifinal was Duke and UNC, and it was the most watched semifinal in history. Kansas and UNC was the final. Well, I mean, it's Duke and UNC, man. Of course. I mean, either way you look at it, man, you got all these blue bloods in the Final Four. You're going to get those ratings. It's going to be monstrous, especially all through the Northeast. Everyone's going to be watching because ESPN forever has hyped the shit out of UNC and Duke, and they've hyped the shit out of Kansas forever as well. So, because ESPN's mostly about blue bloods. I mean, they have put money into the Big 12, which is no longer about blue bloods, but they also love the NFL, and NFL is about parity. So they see parity here, so they're familiar with parity and what they can do. So they invest in the Big 12. But yeah, there's no doubt Duke and UNC is a huge draw. Trust me, just because of a few of the UNC fans, I like to shit on them as much as possible. But you got to give them their flowers when it comes to basketball. When they are relevant, when they're good, unlike this year, when they make a deep run in the tournament, they're worth all the ratings. K-Do. Oh, he's responding to homeboy. Uh-oh. Those two ACC teams in the Final Four last year had a lot of backstory. It was NC versus Duke, and it was Coach K's final game as Duke's head coach. Oh, did forget about that. That was Coach K's final game. That'll do it, man. That's a historic coach. He's probably if not the first, the second or third maybe guy on the Mount Rushmore. I hate Mount Rushmore shit, but we'll use it. Yeah, he's on that mountain. I mean, oh, fuck, I can't think of his name. The guy from UCLA that won all the damn Wood. Coach Wooden. Damn it! I knew I'd get it. Yeah, it's probably Wooden before him. Then it's Coach K. But one or two. So yeah. That's a great point, Mr. K. Do. All right, Mr. L. Mr. Hawaiian L. Big 12 has a bunch of awesome brands. They do. I mean, they're not like Alabama. They're not Texas. As much as I hate to say that, they're not Texas. But yeah, they're fun brands, dude. They're cool. Um, Baylor versus Kansas State versus Houston. Crazy storylines just among those four schools, and the others add a ton too. Yeah, It's going to be a fun conference. I mean, obviously in basketball, it's going to be freaking dynamic every year. It just will be. But in football, it's going to be incredibly fun, and that's what's going to help drive your ratings and your money. All right, K-Do, I do think your mark needs to be careful, but in the same breath, it isn't making any moves. All right, sorry. Ugh, he isn't making any moves without verifying brand value with the media partners. Yeah, that's my worry. That's my thought with San Diego State. Um, as a fan, and I'm not putting any money on this shit. I'm not paying them to be on ESPN. But does ESPN want San Diego State? I'm not saying they'll thumb their nose at it, but the teams you're going to add right now is not going to be Group of Five outside of Gonzaga, outside of basketball only. You know, but that I think those are only really Group of Five. But it sucks with San Diego State though. You know, it's a damn good school. They got a good football program. They got a weird but new stadium. Weird. It's kind of some people have called it beautiful. I don't know if I'd call it that. Uh, what does the Monty Show call it? The whale's vagina? Something like it. Yeah, yeah. There's some labia action going on there. But the only thing he doesn't need to be careful of is basketball only schools. Like I said, there's a lot of great brands out there. You get them in and do some work, do some damage. Oh hell, here's Gold Blue Dude. I used one of your comments for one of my videos. Awesome. Officially a part of the Get It gang. Hey, appreciate that, Mr. Golden Blue. Man, that's a guy that fucking hustles, man. I mean, what is it, like 8 videos a day? He go live twice a day, maybe once at midnight. Even when he's on the toilet, the man's live. He's tweeting at least. He's going to take a shit and tweet. He's going to... Yeah, here's to you, Golden Blue. Dude's got a work ethic like a son of a bitch. I don't, man. I'm going to, I'm doing good to get a couple of videos out a month. Or not a month, but a week. And that's why I'm doing a live stream. It's like kind of like a cheat code, I get on here and just talk some shit. Which, but yeah, hey, I appreciate you using a comment on there. Trying to remember what oh yeah. Okay, I think I know what comment you're talking about as far as no ESPN, no Pac-12 TV deal, and I stand by that. Yeah, there's ESPN can destroy the Pac-12, no problem, no problem. I don't know why they wouldn't. It saves them money. It saves them money. I mean, Four Corners coming in. What does that cost ESPN? 80 million versus 90 or 100. I've heard both. I've heard 10 million per team in the Pac-12. I heard 9. Either way, 80 is still less than 90 or 100, and they're pinching pennies over there. And they get your late night window. They get your game on the app. You don't need San Diego State. You don't need to pay Cal. You don't need to pay Stanford. You don't need any of that bullshit. Four Corners, good enough. Good enough. With BYU, it's more than enough late night games. And most of them will be more fun, more exciting, more competitive than anything you're going to get in the Pac-12. And you think Oregon wants to play at midnight every fucking week? No. You think Washington does? No. I don't know if Stanford cares. We know Cal doesn't care. Why do they still play sports? Why does Cal still play sports? Why aren't they just trying to be the next MIT? Why even bother? I mean, you suck. That they're going to like Dollar Tree for head coaches and shit. Well, why even care? I don't understand Cal. I don't understand. I guess because they get a little chunk of money. They get a little chunk of money from whatever the media rights deal is. God. That reminds me of some of these baseball teams. They just don't try to spend any money. They draft and they put together a good team. Once everyone's due to get paid, they dismantle the thing and start over because they're too cheap to pay anybody. Oakland Athletics, those kind of teams, you know, drives me nuts. So one of the reasons I hate baseball anymore, man. It's just there needs to be a minimum level of spending, or you know what, sell the team and do something else with your life. It's freaking sports, dude. Come on. Let's see. Mr. Rail's back. The Big Ten and SEC combined to get 16 bids into this year's tourney, and not a single one of them made the Elite Eight. Yeah, yeah. I kept hearing all this shit about the SEC. Look out! Look out! The SEC's coming. Oh, they're the favorite. They're the favorite. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hear that hear it all the time. Let me tell you something. I heard all the bullshit about TCU this year. Oh, they shouldn't even be there. Oh my God, how did Michigan lose to TCU? Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, Georgia just destroyed them. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. Yeah, I've heard all this shit. Alabama, fuck you. You shouldn't even have been there in the first place. You played nobody. You're in a shit conference. All right, K-State's actually got to go through the fire. Go through the damn fire in the Big 12. What do you play? You know, what are you doing? Number 1 seed. Kiss my ass. Roll Tide. Roll my ass. Golden Blue dude. I didn't know you had a channel. I'll shout you out. Well, hey, dude, I appreciate it, man. And Golden Blue, man, he's doing what? Man, over 13,000 subscribers. That's pretty damn good. I'm not at 1,000 yet. I think I'll get there. I think I'll get there. If I don't die from work, UPS, if they don't kill me first, maybe I'll get there. But yeah, man, I appreciate you watching, dude. Appreciate the comments, man. I watch your stuff too. I will say this, Golden Blue, and I know you just became aware of my channel. This is bad. Keep in mind, I'm an asshole, Mr. Golden Blue. I'm a total asshole. I made a video about you before. So if you go onto my channel, you will see it. You're in the thumbnail. And I kicked you dead in the nuts. I kicked you hard in the nuts. But that was based off of maybe 1 or 2 videos I saw of yours. And I kept going back a little bit because I like your energy. I did like your energy. I thought some of your points were just, you know, whatever. But then I'm like, hold on. Then I started figuring you out. I started figuring you out, sir. You provide entertainment value. All right. Yeah, there's all kinds of speculation out there, and it's a lot of fun to talk about. I've had a ton of fun just speculating on shit. Why not? Right? All the big corporate news speculates out the asshole, right? Script Sports or whatever else they want to speculate about. We're all paying attention. We all seen it. So I figured you out. I'm like, oh, okay. This dude's having fun. It's like, you know, guys at the bar throwing back some beers, having a good time, talking shit, talking sports. And with that, I totally respect Golden Blue dude now. I respect what he does. I respect his hustle. But I did kick you in the nuts. And but I was ignorant to what you were doing there. So is that really an apology? I don't know. Maybe not. But you know, I'm acknowledging you do good work. How's that? I think that's good. Golden Blue dude, man. If y'all don't know who he is, you should check him out. He's got some good stuff. He's definitely more video quality than me. He's got more, what would you call it? Effects, maybe? You know, you put the team logos up here. You know, try to get the camera. Yeah, but have like West Virginia, and it'll have like TCU, and it'll have like Baylor or whatever, right? And he has all these things, and like he'll be talking about someone's tweet, and he'll have put the tweet up there, and I'm like, damn, dude, all right, I can barely turn this computer on. much less do all that shit. So, hey, man, God bless you. All right, Mr. K-Do again. Isn't ESPN's bid on the pack deal just a handful of games, and ESPN isn't the primary media partner for the pack? That's the rumor. That's the rumor. The rumor is they just want like one game on ESPN or probably the late night window, and then one for the app. That's kind of what they're talking about, which is a far cry from their original 30 million per team per school, 300 million a year in August. That Klehokoff and the school presidents thought was just a joke. It's not funny now, but they thought back then it's nothing. It's nothing. It's rubbish. They ain't rubbish no more, dude. That sounds really good. Oh, oh, they would love it. Could you imagine old John Canzano? Canzano would shit all over himself if they got 300 million a year from ESPN. Not now, buddy. No. The mouse is shopping at Thrift Town now. And that's you. Yeah, you're Shasta Colon now, buddy. Let's see. Oh, I'm losing track. Mr. L back. He's responding to Katie. Okay. ESPN's bid was really only for tier 3 rights, and that's because it wants the ability to show highlights from their games. A network needs to either own some media right or do so, or God, dude, you really know English. I know how to say that word, just not when I'm looking at it. Dude, all right. I failed Spanish and English in the same year. I'm white, but I'm also half Hispanic. Mom was not proud that day. So, reading shit and spelling shit, I could read. Reciprocity? Fuck, I don't know. I can't say that word. I suck. Okay, Bullseye, you'll get there. More common sense, good points of view than anyone. Well, I appreciate that, Bullseye. I really do. I don't know if it's common sense or a common asshole. Maybe I'm more than a common asshole. I don't like to think that I'm just like anybody, any old asshole. You know how many 45-year-olds are this gray already? That is not common. It's not common. You know how many people, as fat as me actually deliver crap for UPS? I'm not talking about the truck driver. I'm talking about I'm in a package car, 200 stops a day. You would think I'd weigh a little less. Nah, man. I'm a die-hard fat motherfucker. I ain't trying to. My body's like, no, we're holding on to this fat, buddy. It might get cold one day. You never know. Hey, I like you like that thumbnail. And this is as I said, this is my first live stream. And so I'm on OBS, setting this thing up. I'm like, oh, I need a thumbnail. Shit. So go and work one up real quick. So I appreciate that. That was kind of out of my ass, but I appreciate that. All right, KD arguing more with Mr. L. That's okay. We're supposed to argue. Happiness 97. Does God love me if I'm gay? Well, the quick answer is no. I'm screwing with you. Yeah, he does. That dude leaves that same comment on so many videos I've seen. Not just mine, but pretty much all of mine. I don't know. He never has a different question. He never has a different question. That's okay. That's okay. Happiness 97. Well, if you're gay, you should be happy. It's in the title. Gay means happy. And God loves you. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're icky or not. He loves me. I don't know why. I'm as straight as a horse's dick, and it doesn't matter. I'm still a bastard, but he loves me. I don't know why. I'm trying not to cuss so much. It's not working out. All right. L responding to K do. I think it's separate, but I'm not too familiar with what the data rights entails. Yeah, no one really knows. No one really knows. Um, well, it's kind of like all the live data and statistics crap. I know all I do know is that the NFL and NBA make like 100 million a year off of that shit, and of course the Big 12 is not. We're not the NFL. We're not the NBA. Not going to make that, but it's still a significant revenue stream. So if look at it this way: if BYU's worth $3 or $4 million a year to each team, would that be worth $3 or $4 million a year each team? Probably. I mean, I'm just humbly guesstimating here, you know, I, but I think that's believable. I think that's possible. And if that's the case, every bit helps because you're trying to catch the Big Ten and the SEC. Well, not really catch. You're just trying to close that gap. We make half what they make. Can we make 70% of what they make? Can we make 75% of what they make? You'll never make 100% of what they make. You can close that gap. And that's why I like our commissioner. He's finding ways to close the gap. But yeah, the data rights thing came out of nowhere for me. Wasn't thinking about that. Wasn't thinking about gambling. I should have. I'm a degenerate. I love poker. I didn't think about that one. Good for your Mark. But he's been involved with the NBA. He's been involved in things that like gambling. He's in the Northeast. They've always liked their gambling up in the Northeast. All right. K do comes back. Not arguing in any sense, just a friendly discussion. Anyway, Numbskull, love your take on things. Keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm not saying you're like you're cussing at each other. Not saying you're about to reach through the phone and strangle Mr. L there. But, having a discussion, a little debate, a little whatever, it's always a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, I'm going to sign off on my first live stream here just momentarily. But I do want to pay off that thumbnail a little bit. There has been a lot of news recently about possibly people are meeting in person with Brett Yormark. And of course, Pac-12 people, oh, that's not happening. There's no proof of that. There's no proof of anything, Picker. There's no proof of anything, you Peckerwood. But it only makes sense. You're going to make some phone calls. Jason Shear's already tweeted out, a couple days ago or a day ago that, yeah, all these Pac-12 guys, everyone has the numbers. And they're horrid. They're horrible. They suck. All right? The biggest nightmare, that's the thing that they were afraid of seeing, is the numbers that they have been seeing, that they've gotten shown as of now. So I imagine that the people talking to the Big 12 are like, okay, Brett, let's, Arizona guy, Colorado, trust me, I would not doubt at all if they're like, we need to meet in person. We need to talk seriously about this because this sucks. And, a lot of people try to say, well, you still got like a year, you got over a year left on this deal. No one's trying to wait a year, buddy. Nobody. And this is another thing no one's talking about. They're like, look, it's just assholes like Numbskull on YouTube. They're the only ones pissing him. There's hundreds of thousands, millions of people talking about this shit. Freaking out about it. Tons of YouTubers throwing out videos, live streams, all this kind of bullshit about it. So to sit there and say that that doesn't matter. There's a lot of people who give a lot of money, all right, a lot of donations to Utah, to Arizona State, to Arizona, Colorado, and they're hearing all this shit. They're hearing it all the time, every day. Every time they get on YouTube, there's Golden Blue Dude telling them they're about to get their balls clipped off. There's Numbskull News saying, yes, they're going to get clipped off, and they're going to get shoved down your throat. Oh, and now there's John Kurtz, who's a little bit, I guess, more respectable than me, who's saying, yeah, they're going to get cut off, shoved down your throat, and you're going to choke to death. That's what's going to happen. You're going to choke to death on your own testicles. That's what's being talked about. So the more those money guys, all right, all those very, very rich alumni that all those schools have, the more they're hearing about it, the more freaking out they're doing. They're picking up the phone, they're calling the AD, they're calling the president, the chancellors, anybody they can, and say, hey, why are we staying in this conference? We can't compete. Why am I paying out money when we can't compete? All right, when we're going to lose recruits. All your NIL people want to pay these recruits, but the recruits ain't going to want to come and play on Amazon. They're not going to want to come and play on Apple TV. They're trying to get to the NFL. You're not getting to the NFL on Apple TV. Let me take that back. You can, but will it cost you a few spots in the draft? I mean, could you be a top 5 guy or a top 10 guy or a top 20 guy, and then you fall, you slide, because no one's seeing you because you're on Apple TV? It's a problem. It's a real issue. There's guys that could possibly get into the first round of the draft, later on in the draft. And that could be the difference between them getting drafted by somebody at number 25, 26, or getting drafted with the 5th, 6th pick in the second round, or possibly sliding even further. It's the difference of millions of dollars. So it's an issue. So when you have a serious 4 or 5 star guy, a blue chip recruit, they're not going to want to come to the Big Ten and play on Apple TV and be lost. They all have brands. They want to build those brands. That's why I think Colorado, I really do feel they're going to go to the Big 12. Because what is Coach Prime hammering over and over and over again? Let me show these kids how to build their brands, create money, raise their draft stock, all of that. Can't do it on Apple TV. You can do it on ESPN. You can do it on Fox. You can do it on all the linear places. You can play once in a while on ESPN Plus. It's no problem. It's still ESPN. Even though it's streaming, it's fucking ESPN. Even if Amazon gets in with a game a week, all right, that's fine if it's a game once in a while. If once a year, twice a year, you're on Amazon, no problem. It can't be every game, every week on Apple TV. That's unsustainable. So, having said that, those 4 teams, a little bit of a rumor about Utah and Arizona State, possibly like, oh, we said no, but yeah, there's a but coming. There's a but coming. But I think what's going to immediately happen, I'm talking, when I say immediate, I'm talking week or 2, maybe, after the tournament, you're going to hear about Gonzaga first. Invite sent, invite received, invite accepted. Within 1 to 2 weeks, you're going to hear that. Possibly within that same time frame, wouldn't shock me at all, as at the end of that 2 or 3 week period, Arizona, same thing. Colorado, possibly the same time. I still think Arizona would like to go with somebody. At this point, Colorado is the most likely to go with Arizona to the Big 12 soon. we're talking week or two, maybe 3 weeks after the tournament. That's when all that'll start getting really worked out. Right now, it's just about the groundwork, getting the paperwork ready to be signed, ready to be, okay. I guarantee you, Arizona has already gotten paperwork, having the lawyers look at it. Nothing's been signed, just a template. Nothing official, just a template. Wouldn't doubt if Colorado got the same thing. Utah and Arizona State maybe calling here shortly. Okay, can we get that template so we can look at it, go over it with our attorneys, like the other two schools? Probably doing that. But I think it's not going to happen like all 5 of those schools at once. It's not going to happen. It's either going to be Gonzaga by themselves or Gonzaga, Arizona, something like that. Colorado, probably right up. Well, it could be Arizona, Colorado. It could be, well, okay. It could be Gonzaga first, then Arizona, Colorado. They go. Maybe a month later, 6 weeks later, maybe two months later. Who knows? Who knows how long they'll really wait it out? But eventually, Utah and Arizona State will see the light and be like, this is going to suck if we stay. This is going to suck if we stay. And no, I don't think they're going to lose educational dollars. I don't think they're going to lose research money, grant money, or any of that kind of crap by going to the Big 12. That doesn't make sense anyway, since Stanford and Cal are both trying to go to the Big 10. They've been trying to go to the Big 10. They may actually get there. And if they do, are they going to stay so they can have an association with Utah? No. So, no. And if they leave, if they go to the Big 10, you could still do research together. None of that has anything to do with your football or basketball or any sport. It's separate. It's always been separate. Again, I'll have to say this, and I'm hoping there's a Pac-12 person out there or two that's paying attention to it. At some point, you have to realize there are AAU schools in many different conferences. Just because they're in a different conference does not mean they can't share grant money, can't do work together. It's not predicated on your conference, dumbasses. Anyway. All right. Anyway, I want to wrap this shit up. I'm going to go, I've already mowed the lawn. I don't know. I'll think of something to do. Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching my first live stream. I appreciate it. I think I got up to 49 people watching. Holy shit, why would 49 people watch my dumb ass talk this shit? Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll come out with some kind of stupid video